7 o'clock p.m. on September 1st, 2022. We'll call our Redevelopment Commission meeting to order. If everybody would stand, we'll begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If everyone would please silence your electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. Judy, would you conduct roll call, please?
Ken Dornish.
Present.
Jamie Humbert.
Present.
Darrell Pohl.
Here.
Darren Burkhardt. David Weigel.
Present.
Mark Beck.
Thank you. Approval of minutes of our July 7th, 2022 meeting. Hopefully everybody's had those and had a chance to review. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If there are not any corrections to the minutes, they stand approved as presented. First item on the agenda is old business. Mr. May, City Engineer, discussion of residential development project.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First off, I'm happy to share with you that in your folder, David, is the agreement with Beacon Builders, ready for your signature. The commission had previously approved your signing it once we got it signed and returned from Beacon Builders. And then when you get that done, I will get that to the mayor for his signature. So that's out of the way. A couple months ago, I think it was, the mayor and I met with Mark Watkins and Bill Evans, who is Beacon's engineer. We talked about the project, kind of got things lined out for the steps that need to be gone through. And then one of the first steps indicated in that meeting was the need to conduct a topographic survey of the site. And I think it was a week ago today, as a matter of fact, Zeke Smith and I met with Mark and Bill and talked in more detail. They now have part of their survey back and they're doing some preliminary design work and planning for the project. The early indication, not a final answer, but the early indication is that we will need a lift station on that site. So, not desirable, I'm sorry, it's very desirable, not desired, maybe is the way to say it. But it's good that we're learning things and knowing what has to be overcome. Otherwise, it seems to be going well. They seem to be anxious about moving forward. So that seemed encouraging.
Good.
Questions?
Any idea first shovel?
Probably next spring. Their idea is to get the subdivision primary plat completed and get their design plans for infrastructure completed, and then that will take them into the fall, into the winter enough that it won't be the right kind of weather for starting any of that work. Hopefully we'll get all of the permits and approvals in place through the winter and be ready to go in the spring. And then by the middle of 24, they hope to have maybe the first 24 homes sold.
That's nice, positive, encouraging news.
For many reasons. Other questions? Thank you.
I thought you had kind of anticipated the need for a lift station.
It had been thought about from the very beginning. We'd hoped maybe we would be fortunate and it wouldn't be required, but the elevations are such that Bill said that when he looked at not using a lift station, the end of the sewer on the east end would be 2 feet above the ground. So that just doesn't work.
There's no date. Does it matter what day executed as the such and such day?
The last signatory typically fixes the date.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
or That's my experience.
Thank you. Is there anything to discuss, Mr. May, about our long-range project plan? We talked about that in July.
Yes, we did. The group, when met, didn't really identify anything new at that time. Maybe we should wait a month or so and kind of roll it around in your heads and get together one more time just to make sure we haven't thought up something else that might want to be there.
All righty, thank you. Moving on to new business, Brendan Bridges is going to talk to us about the inclusion park at Rebekah Park.
Good evening. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come in front of the board to speak about the Greensburg, Decatur County Inclusion Park. This idea came to me probably about 4 years ago. I have a 9-year-old son now, Jackson, who is low functioning autism. And unfortunately, when we went to our local playgrounds, they were not set up for ADA compliancy or those individuals with intellectual disabilities. So within about 10 minutes, Jackson was fed up and ready to go home. So I started doing research, and over fall break, I took Jackson to a place over in Cincinnati, Ohio, Green Township, which is their West Fork Park, and they have a total inclusion park there. Jackson was able to stay for about 2 hours. And the thing that I took most out of that was not the fact that he was able to stay for the 2 hours, but it was the interaction that he actually had with the other kids. They have a zip line there. Jackson would get up there, and I was able just to sit back, and those kids were actually helping Jackson get on that equipment, interacting with him, and showing those communication and social skills that unfortunately individuals with autism really do lack. So at that point in time, I brought it back to the city, pitched it to several different organizations, City Council, Board of Works, the Mayor's Office, and everybody has given me the support to continue with this project. The project that we came up with is 17,700 square foot. It is totally inclusive. We'll also feature equipment for those that are unfortunately confined to wheelchairs, but they will be given that opportunity to actually get on that equipment and interact and socialize with other individuals. The surfacing on this project will all be either pour-in or turf surfaces. And the reason for that is with regular parks and grass that we see, sometimes individuals with disabilities and elderly people that maybe grandparents that take their grandkids to the park sometimes have a hard time meeting some of those obstacles due to the surfacing. So it will be a complete flat surface throughout that 17,700 square foot. Again, every piece of equipment is going to be ADA compliant and inclusive. The ramps will be wheelchair width approved, and that we are also going to have separate stations that help with balancing of those individuals that maybe struggle with a little bit of balance. We are going to have STEM equipment, which is very popular in your schools now, and it will again just bring that total inclusion and social piece together. Another feature that we will have with that is playhouses, and those playhouses are geared for ages probably about 1.5 to 2 years up to 4, and that brings in that early social interaction with other kids. So Miracle Playground, I did send out 2 quotes. Miracle Playground came in with the cheapest pricing for this. So I had been working with them, and they outsource all of their equipment and that through the company. So whoever is doing the play-in surfacing and the construction and installation all will be working with Miracle. So it's all going to be within the one company. So that's kind of nice to be able to work with. And that earlier this year, the governor showcased this project in the Ready Grant, which the city, county, and our region received some money for that. And again, this project was highlighted as one of the top projects in the state of Indiana. This project is being told to other counties that if they are looking to build park projects, that the inclusion park is the way that the state wants you to lean towards. I look for 15 to 20,000 visitors a year to this playground. I believe that we will get that with Pirate Park that is being constructed right now, with the amphitheater and that. So I do believe for the economic purposes, this could be a very big benefit for Decatur County and Greensburg. As far as housing, it has shown in studies that housing in a 3-block radius have actually increased about 10%, and houses are actually being sold quicker on the market due to the playground and being totally inclusive for family. Our goal is to not only build this park, but again, secure it with fencing. That way, since you do have individuals with autism who tend to like to run off at loud noises, we are going to put fencing around the whole park. We've already gotten quotes for that. We are also looking at benches, picnic tables, and shading. That way, families can spend hours here in Decatur County and Greensburg enjoying the equipment. So, as of today, we have raised around $600,000. I'm still waiting on another commitment in the next 2 weeks. I do not know exactly what they are looking at. We are also waiting on a grant. The total cost of the project is around $742,000. Anything over that $742,000, again, we are looking at fencing, benches, picnic tables, shading, and then we actually are working with a local company that might be providing Wi-Fi as a donation to that area. So hopefully that will also help booster the amphitheater, Pirate Park, and all that. So bringing all this park, hopefully will bring everything together and make it a great attraction for Greensburg and Decatur County. So I think I've hit on all the highlights. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask.
You said the surface is turf, and what was the
That
other?
pour-in surface is like it's almost like a rubber
Like a
type
rubber,
surface.
okay. I know what you're-
Everything that I have studied and asked the experts is that surface should last 20 to 30 years. So the surfacing is a very pricey surfacing, but again, it should hold that 20 to 30 year life, hopefully. Anything, again, after this park is constructed, we will continue fundraising, grant writing for continued maintenance for the park. It's not going to be just on the Decatur County parks. We have funding set up through the Community Foundation that will be there as long as, hopefully, I'm alive. Tammy Winning's been excellent to work with on that. They are the financial holder of everything. That's where we will continue to get our money and resources for the maintenance and everything.
I guess the question I would have is, has the city council given money? Has the Board of Works given money, or is that just support of
Yes.
the project?
So the city council did donate $100,000 in December, January area. Decatur County TIF donated $100,000 about a month ago for the project. So I do have the backing of the city and the county on this project. Everybody's very excited for it, so yes. And everything else has been done through grants, and of course the Ready project. They donated $250,000.
I think most of our board knows that if we would give anything, it does meet our existing project list because of recreation at Rebekah Park, so we can.
That falls into that.
It falls under our guidelines.
I've been fortunate to know Jackson since he was 3 years old, and he has turned into a fine young man, thanks to him and his mom. Just amazing what you guys have done working with Jackson.
Thank you. And I can't say enough about the programs that currently Greensburg and Decatur County offer. Again, Decatur County and Greensburg are huge with Special Olympics. Again, we have the Daisy Autism Center here. Our schools, both city and county, they try to bring in the best equipment and teachers for our kids and that. So again, I just think that this all around would be a great thing for our community. And that, because we do have a lot of resources for those individuals with intellectual disabilities.
I think too, sometimes we see, and I'm throwing accolades your way also, you're very respected in this community. But so many times in council, we see people come and complain that this isn't done, that isn't done. You saw where we had a need. It wasn't ADA compliant, and you did something about it, and kudos to you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Is this something we would be, do we want to make a donation tonight? Do we want to talk about this, put an ad hoc committee together and come up with a recommendation?
I would be in favor of funding it.
Absolutely.
I think it has tremendous amount of benefits, both for the kids and the community.
You said this is gonna be a fenced-in area, but like, I'm not saying this will happen, I hope it doesn't, but, is there gonna be like any prevention, so like vandalism and?
So that's where I'm hoping, I would like to work with a camera company, look at cameras. Of course, housing the equipment would be one thing. I would hope that Teresa would be okay, Kavachi would maybe be okay with housing us somewhere at the Decatur County Parks and Rec building, since it would be the Decatur County Parks and Rec. I have not spoken to her about that, but yes, my goal is to have it completely with surveillance also. We are gonna put a lock through the winter months when it's not being used, so it will be shut down at that point in time. So yeah, and then where it sits, the only concern I have where it sits is it is on that curve on Northeast 80. So another thing that we're looking at doing, I've been talking to some landscaping companies, and I'm gonna have some big boulders put along that roadway, because we all know the fencing's not gonna hold a car. So there will be some extra measures for protection from that playground, since it's in that area, so.
I mean, I would be in favor of matching the county TIF if we have that flexibility. We're not in competition, we're a team.
I would make a motion that we donate $100,000 project.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Daryl. Any other question or discussion? Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
I should have said $100,001 just so.
On the advice of our attorney. Make sure you get that in the minutes.
Okay, approval of our claims. We have our claims we all approved electronically for our August meeting. We'll just all have to sign that, and that was $2,391.43 for last month. And then this month we have Reedy Financial bill for July of $2,083.63. And then we have $3.48 from the Greensburg Municipal Water and Wastewater 4 times. So this month we had $2,097.55. I'd entertain a motion to pay our bills.
Moved.
Thank you, Ken. Is there a second? Thank you, Jamie. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. So we have our claims all approved. Looks like we're at the bottom of our agenda. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, October 6th at 7 o'clock p.m. right here. Any questions from board members? Thank you all for coming. Meeting's adjourned.